Okay, so today we're going to combine the x, y, r ratios that we learned yesterday. Okay, so yesterday I put that on your paper, right? So your really cute X-rated, thank you, excellent. We learned that yesterday. And then we also learned cosecant was if we flipped. Sine and secant is if we flip cos. And we learned about cotangent. Okay. So that's what we learned yesterday. Ethan, can you remind me to change your attendance when I'm done this?
Okay.
Okay. So we learned that yesterday. Plus, how many days ago we learned the unit circle, right? We learned how to make this. We made all the coordinates. Okay, so everything we've learned is on this paper I've given you. Now we're going to tie the two things together. Okay. Ready? Find the sine at 210. So go to your circle. Can you figure out the location of 210? Okay, so does this make sense? 210. Did you look at it? This circle? Where's 210? Right here. 210 on my circle. That's all I did was look and I found it. I'm in quadrant 3, aren't I?
Oh, well, I'm just confused why I have 210.
Sorry, I drew it over like here. I just needed some space here. Okay, so this is what you see. This. Okay. When you do the coordinate, this is the x. Right? That's an x value. That's a y value. That's a y value. And because this is on the unit circle, or if I added those squared, what would it make for an r? 1. The r is 1. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the unit circle. Now, I was asked to find the sine value. So what should I do for a sine? I need to take the y and divide it by r. I'm going to do that. Okay, so what's the y? -1/2 divided by 1. Do we like to divide by 1 or does it matter? Doesn't really matter, right? It's not going to do anything. So my final answer is -1/2. So this is me showing you in a long version, and I will never do it like that. I just go 210. What's the y? Because I already know I'm dividing by 1. So that's how I do it. I just say, well, what's the y? Because I know that the r is irrelevant to me. But this is what's really going on. Okay, cos of 5 pi over 6. Okay, look at your circle. Where is 5 pi over 6? Up here. So, okay, are you good there? That's the location. And it says this. That's what it says on your circle. Okay, you don't have to do this if you're already comfortable. This is the last time I'm going to do it this long way. Oh, I need to turn that off. Okay. So this is the x. This is the y. And again, it's the unit circle. So the r is 1. Okay. Now, I'm going here. I was asked to find the cos. So I got to do the x number divided by the r number. So what's the x number? So negative root 3 over 2. And I'm going to divide it by a 1. And in math, when we divide something by 1, it's irrelevant. So basically, for me, if I'm asked to find a sine value on the unit circle, I just go, what's the y? I just say, as soon as I see sine, I just say, what's the y? And as soon as I see cos, just what's the x? Because, do we understand that that's going to make a divide by 1 on the unit circle? Okay, tan of 330. Okay, I'm not going to draw it this time. So can you find it? So 330. So here I am, 330. So I'm going to take the y value and divide it by the x value. That's what I need to do. So which part of this coordinate is the y number? So negative a half is the y value divided by the x value. Okay? So on this one, it's not as simple. There's no like, oh, divide by 1, cancel. That doesn't work. I'm going to show you a long way, and then I'm okay with the shortcut. So when I divide fractions, you know what I'm going to do with dividing fractions? We talked about this yesterday. Multiply and flip. Multiply and flip. Now, can you see that the 2 would cancel? Does that make sense? The 2 on the top, bottom. And I get negative 1 over root 3. Okay. I'm okay with this situation if you want to shortcut it. If you have a 2 on the bottom and a 2 on the bottom, I'm okay if you do that, if you are understanding that this is the y part of it. Okay, if you don't understand that, then do the long way. Okay, ready? Secant. What is it the flip of? Flip of the cos. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the cos, which is what part? X, Y, what? Cos is finding the x. Because at this point, I'm actually saying that the r of 1 is irrelevant. So I'm just taking the x, remember? I say, well, let's just grab the x, because it's on the unit circle. We can only do this on the unit circle. So I'm going to find the x, and then I'm going to flip it over. Okay, so can you go to 7 pi over 6? 7 pi over 6. So here I am. And then I'm going to grab the x coordinate, because that's the cos.
Oh, that's your answer?
And then I got to write it upside down, kind of, right?
That's it?
And that's it.
Wait, why are we flipping it?
Because the secant is taking cos and reciprocating it.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay, if you don't understand that, you can still draw your triangle. Okay? If you don't understand that, you can still draw the triangle. This is all the same as yesterday. So then I would do r over x, right? Which would be 1 over this. And then if I do that math, and I divide fractions, I would flip multiply. And what would happen when I flipped? That. That would turn into that. Okay. Where do you land? Where do you land? Negative pi over 6. Anybody know where I would put my finger on this circle? Negative pi over 6.
Oh, why?
Because you're going backwards.
You're going down. So think about going pi over 6 forward. Can you do that motion? Backwards. That way. Is that okay? Negative pi over 6. So I'm here. Okay? What am I going to find here? I'm asked to find the sine. So what's the sine? Y over r. And then we talked about the r on this specific thing, dividing by 1. So just go here and find the y. Find the y. So our answer is negative a half. Done. Okay. Here we go. 23 pi over 6. Where are you going to land on your circle?
0.
Okay, here's a question. What is that amount? 6 over 6, because it's a full pi. What's this? 12. See, we remember this. 12 over 6. Okay. What if I do another 18 pi over 6? What if I do another, what are you at to now? 24 pi over 6. See how I'm counting? This is 1 pi, so 1 is 6 over 6. 2 pi, 12. What's 3 pi? 18. What's 4 pi? Okay, now that you know that, where would 23 pi over 6 land? This is 24, so 23 should be a little bit lower than that, right? So, this is my landing spot. Because I rotated, and I rotated again. So this is how I did. I went 1 full, and then almost 2 fulls. So I landed there. Okay. What is cosecant the flip of? It's sine flipped. Okay? So we're going to grab the y coordinate and flip it. Okay? Because cosecant is the flip of sine. Sine on the unit circle is just the y, because I can say the r is just gone, right? I don't worry about the r. So I'm going to grab the y and flip it. So what happens if you flip those numbers? Yeah, 2 over negative 1. You were right, but I'm just going to simplify it. Right? 2 divided by negative 1. Is that okay? All right, 2 more questions here, and then we're done. Okay, so I'm going to ask kind of where do I land and what should I grab? Okay, so 315, where do you land? Can you find your landing spot? So 315, Here's the coordinate. What should I do with a tangent? I should do a y divided by an x, right? And I can't do the r, doesn't matter. I can't do that on this one. So what's the y? So I'm looking at 315. What's this divided by this? Does anybody actually just know by looking at it? What happens, because this is the same as this, except for a negative. What happens with division when you do two things that are the same divided? What'd you say? -1.
So you're dividing it?
Yeah, when you take this divided by that, in math, if you do the same number divided by the same number, you get a 1.
Yeah, but like why are you dividing it?
Because the formula for tan, remember those 6 formulas? What does the tan say? Take the y divided by the x. So the y divided by the x, I'm going to do it the long way, you don't have to. I would understand at that point that the same number divided by the same number causes a 1, but obviously there's a negative involved. That, top, bottom cancel, that, top, bottom cancel. That all turned out to be -1.
You weren't saying why, you were just saying that it's
Okay, now we got to do this part. So 240, so again, go, where do I land? So this one's right on there, 240. What should I do? What is the secant all about? You remember the secant? It's the flip of cos. Cos is x over r, but the r is irrelevant. So I'm going to take the x value, because it's cos, and flip it. So 240, here's the x. What we just did this one, right? What happens if I flip the 2 to the top, -1 to the bottom? So that was -2. Okay, so now we did this, we did this. Now this says times them together. So what's this times that? +2. Okay, last example. Where do you land? So I'm going to start counting. Ready? 3 pi over 3. You okay with that? Full pi. If I do a circle, 2 pi, I'm at 6 pi over 3. Keep going. What would be the next? 9 pi over 3. 12 pi over 3. If you can understand your fractions, you can do this a whole lot faster, right? I gotta keep going. So 15 pi over 3, that's 5. 6 pi is 18 over 3. Still not there. So we did 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi. So 7 pi is what? 21 over 3? Okay, I've gone too far. So I need to back it up, and I land there. So what's the angle in that quadrant? Basically, just you have to have a 3 on the bottom, right? So right here, I have to back it up. So remember 18 and then 1920 over 3. So I'm here, and what should I grab? I was asked to find the sine. What is the sine? Sine means grab the y over r irrelevant. So grab the y coordinate, so root 3 over 2. is the y coordinate. But then I have to take that number, and this says square it. I grabbed the y value, but then the math said take that number and then square it. Okay, so no calculators. What's the root of 3 squared? Just 3. And what's 2 squared? That's the answer.
No.